Your child's smile? Bright. Your child's future? Even brighter. Enter Indiana 529's Faces of 529 Day contest for a chance to win one of five $529 account deposits. Just upload a picture of who you're saving for at myindiana529.com/529day by May 29th. It's enough to put a smile on both of your faces. No purchase necessary. Terms and conditions apply. Void where prohibited. Please read the disclosure booklet carefully before investing.
Kristen, Dame. Good morning, everyone. It's the Pete the Planner Show. This episode brought to you by Indiana 529. Indiana 529 Education Savings Plan offers a simple tax smart. Wait, guys, I can't read.
Should I have done the read for this?
Oh, Lord. Here's the thing. Indiana 529 is sponsoring the show this month. And here's what I have to say. I've been using one for 16 years. I've been contributing to my daughter's account for 16 years. She is 2 years away from college. And when I look at how much is in the account, I'm so thankful that while in the delivery room, I ignored my spouse and opened an account and started contributing immediately. Dame, that's what we do, right?
100%.
Kristen, how do you feel about that?
I feel like your better half probably didn't love that in the moment, but is so thankful now.
So my daughter Ollie used to do 529 radio commercials with me. I used to do the television commercials for 529, so it's really great to have them back as a sponsor. I found an audio clip from back in those days. This isn't the 529 ad she did with me, but this is when she used to do sound drops for the podcast. Mm-hmm. And given that she went on a college visit 2 weeks ago, it was really interesting to listen to this clip this morning. Listen to this.
This is for information purposes only. This is financial planning device. Consult a financial advisor.
That's right. Consult a financial Kristen, you look emotional there. Wasn't that sweet?
Oh my gosh. Well, it just like when I think about, I used to actually listen to this show like shortly after she recorded stuff like that. I feel emotional because I feel so old, really.
Dame, you've had 529 plans forever.
Yeah, I was trying to think exactly how long I've had the 529s for, staggered times because the kids are different ages, but it's been a minute. It's quite a while.
You know, the set it and forget it nature of them, of what I like is that I have the age-based portfolios. And even as a former financial advisor, you want to tell yourself that you can outsmart and outperform what these age-based portfolios are. But here's the reality. You forget about stuff like this when times get complicated. And Dame, as I look into those accounts now, even with all this market turmoil, boy, am I glad to have an age-based portfolio with 2 years left to go. It is not taking shrapnel.
Yeah, it's the absolute best part because as you get closer to that target date, it starts to throttle back on the risk exposure to the investments that are inside of that account. So as everything else kind of went south, you hopefully only made it to like Louisville and not all the way down to Tampa at this point.
So anyway, go to Indiana529direct.com. Terms and conditions apply. So go to myindiana529.com to learn more, or Indiana529 Direct if you want to go direct. You can go through an advisor or you can go direct. I go to direct, whatever you like. Hello, friends. What's up, Kristen?
House renovations, man.
You know, today's show is about a tricky house situation. So I think you're going to like it a lot. Obviously, you know what we're going to talk about today, but given how big of a deal your house is in your life right now, I think you'll like the discussion. How are the renovations going?
Going really well, actually. We're painting, we're prepping to lay floor, and thank goodness, because we are almost out of time. We have to move next weekend.
Oh, man, that went fast.
You're telling me. Yeah, we're exhausted, but we're making progress.
Dame, blending those two, it went fast. So right before Liberation Day, which we all know is April 2nd, We bought a third car for our teen driver, and I need to get to the BMV in the next few days because that temporary plate's about to expire, and I do not need that headache. So, Kristen, I feel you. April went fast.
Yeah.
April went fast. Okay, before we get into the show here, I have to tell you, I woke up this morning knowing that the jobs report was going to come out. I know this is not Navigating Now.
Comcast.
I mean, I know this episode of the show is not Navigating Now. I woke up this morning knowing the jobs report was going to come out. I think they estimated at 125,000 jobs added in April. That was the estimate that people were trying to hit. I went to the gym to work out, get swole, then eat some Greek yogurt. Why does it do that every episode at about this time? That airlock release sound happens. What is that?
Maybe that's just your mic making a attempt to laugh at a joke.
What in the world? Anyway, I went to the gym fully expecting 99,000 jobs. I just thought, Dame, 177,000 jobs in April blew away expectations. I gotta be honest, I have no idea what to make of this.
Yeah. Could you have been more pleasantly surprised?
That's a great way to say it, because there are people that are 100% disappointed that there was job growth because it does not match their narrative.
Yeah.
Now, I will be honest, my narrative is that we're screwed. However, I am pleasantly surprised that we're at 177,000 jobs. And I've been wrong a couple times this week with economic data and how the market would react to it. Obviously, the market is very favorable of that. Let's see what the market's doing today. It's up 350 points so far. So that's good news.
Plenty of time.
Plenty of time to go down. Yeah. Hello, everyone in the chat. Hello, everyone in the chat. Dame, just a note about some behind the scenes, inside baseball, if you will, for my former radio producer, Scott Roddy, who hates when I used to talk about stuff like this. I have a new setup in the studio here where I have actually a full-size commercial teleprompter in front of me, including your images. So I'm literally staring into your eyes as opposed to looking at one TV and staring into the camera. And the downside of that is also all the comments are there as well. They're in a 4-point font. Oh, I have no idea what the hell anyone's saying.
No.
Okay, let's see what I can do. Okay. Ian says, okay. Oh boy.
This is an eye test, Pete.
Yeah. The jobs report confuses me based on my own circle and the struggles we're all having to find real jobs. A lot of postings out there to get pulled down quickly.
You did it.
It was exhausting.
Yeah, let's not do that again.
All right. So that was really bad. Good morning. What in the world is Rick Swink doing coming into the show at 10:08?
In all caps. Yeah.
I had a friend ask me at a little soiree the other day. Guy kind of in the know. He's like, what is the best podcast in the world right now? What is the best? He said, who is the best podcaster in the world right now? Who is the best podcaster in the world right now? I took a couple beats and I gave him an answer. But before I give you mine, I would just like your opinion. And if you'd prefer my opinion first, I'd be glad to do that too.
Best or most popular?
No, who's the best podcaster? Like basically, who does it best, in my opinion? I mean, you could say the Boss Hog of Liberty, obviously.
Good.
An idea there.
Good.
Here's who I said. I said Theo Vaughn right now is the best podcaster in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Kristen?
That's what I was going to say.
Listen to very few podcasts, so I'll go with Peter Dunn.
Oh, that's really sweet.
Comcast.
I think Theo Vaughn is, and then the person said, and this gets a little weird, but it's funny if you know, is he a really smart dumb guy, or is he a really dumb smart guy? Right. And I think that's a really if you have that conversation with respect, it's an interesting idea. I think he's so funny and he's so quick and he's so demented in a way that I like. Yet he asks really earnest questions and he just wants people to succeed. Like, it's not a cynical thing. And so that's why I like it. And I don't know why I'm endorsing another podcast, but it just makes me laugh so hard.
I think most comedians share the trait of being incredibly observational, where they can see things that don't fit together and then use them for their craft, obviously. But when they start to look around them and internalize that stuff, they can ask really, really great questions, which can either lead to a great set or a great podcast, either one.
Don't we have a radio show to do?
Allegedly.
Oh, I can't pull it up right now, but there's another drop from my daughter from back in those times, a radio show or a podcast. Did your radio show get canceled?
You have it?
I have it. I found it this morning.
That's my favorite.
Okay. Well, I'll program it into the board while one of you is talking during the next segment. Actually, I may not be able to do that. I'll have it next week.
Okay.
Let me find the email because we've got a great email to kick us off. There it is. I need timer. Someday. It's like our all-team stand-ups where everyone zooms in on Wednesdays at 1, and the AV is just always a work in progress. I'm constantly changing. I'm like, hey, you're going to feel part of this soon. You hang on.
The people watching via Zoom get motion sick because the camera is zooming in and out and swaying side to side.
Calm down.
Calm cost.
3, 2, 1. This week on the Pete the Planner Show, we answer your money questions. Here's how the show works. You email us an electronic mail, askpete@petetheplanner.com. That's askpete@petetheplanner.com. And here's what we'll do. In the midst of our podcast, we will record a radio show that goes out all over the place and people listen to it. And then you get your question answered. And we talk about you. We make up things about you that we have to fill in the blanks for an entire show. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're bad. Sometimes you will learn to deal with it. I said we several times. And I mean Kristen Alanius and Damian Dunn. Kristen, hello.
Hello, Pete.
Damian, hello.
Good day.
All right. So, y'all, if you want to listen to the in-between of the radio segments, just go subscribe to the Pete the Planner Show, wherever you get your podcasts, and you get a bunch of other stuff too. No one cares. All right. Here's the email. Good day, Money Squad. Kristen, do you like that? Money Squad? I feel like it's taken.
Maybe. And the good day feels like a throwback also at the same time, but I also don't know anybody that's called us the Money Squad. So I appreciate the creativity.
Yes.
I have an unusual housing situation that I would appreciate your advice on. My wife and I bought our current townhouse 2 years ago, intending to upgrade to a forever home within 5 years or so.
Time out.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry. Stepped on you there. Forever home, such a tough term for me. I mean, because I think it's really well intentioned. Kristen, you arguably are about to move into your forever home. Have you called it your forever home?
I would never.
I don't want to say I love you on air because it's awkward. I don't want your partner to get upset, but thank you for that. Dame, you also live theoretically in a forever home. Do you call it your forever home?
No.
Okay, good. Thanks. Time back in, which you don't have to do. You just keep playing. Unfortunately, we had a pipe burst, which resulted in a flood of our entire main floor. Instead of dealing with the herache, I believe it's pronounced, of the repairs, we are planning to sell the home in its current state and pocket the insurance money. We bought the house in 2023 for $788,000 American dollars.
Time out.
You're going to burn through these. You're in trouble.
There's no way that's in central Indiana. I mean, this is I don't know. I'm guessing DC.
Yep, I was going to guess Virginia.
Yeah. We bought the house in 2023 for $788,000 and put in about $75K in renovations, which, as Kristen knows, is just some paint and a new fridge. We have a deal to sell it for $820,000. and we would pocket $84,000 of insurance funds. I'm confident this is the right decision, but the outstanding question is, what should we do next? We were originally going to start looking to buy that forever house, but are having second thoughts given the economic uncertainty. Have you seen the jobs report? I did listen to your recent episode warning not to buy a house this year unless your name is Kristen. However, between the proceeds from the sale of our current house and the cash that we have been saving in a money market account, we have enough cash for a down payment. We also have both have job security in our current roles. All of that being said, which was a lot, while we may technically be able to buy a house, I feel like it may make more sense to rent for a year and watch what the housing market and mortgage rates do over the next year. We are in a very high cost of living area and don't foresee a significant decrease in housing prices, barring a full-blown economic meltdown. But I'm also not sure what the market if it could get any hotter than it's been recently. Should we be looking to buy that dream forever house, or should we sit on the sidelines for a year while we evaluate our next move? Appreciating insights. Thanks, Brian. Oh, Kristen, you are the home buying guru of this show.
Indeed.
Kristen, since I've known you, have you bought 3 homes?
Yes, that is accurate. I have purchased 3 houses.
Well, you're the home buying guru. Kristen, what do you think?
Golly, that first paragraph where I'm confident this is the right decision, I have so much empathy for wanting to walk away from potential like home repairs and the headache that is, because trust me, I am well aware of how hard it can be, especially if you have to live among those repairs. But like, I'm a little concerned about, did we put the cart before the horse? Like, is this really the right decision?
Interesting. Dame?
My line of thought was really similar to what Kristen's was. I mean, I'd love to see the numbers on what that could potentially bring if the insurance money was used at least to some level to repair. But then I thought, depending on where this pipe burst, it could be giving the new buyer a chance to do the remodeling that they were going to do anyway. So they're basically getting a head start on maybe the demo or whatever it is, and now they can come in and get let's just say the kitchen that they wanted for less of a cost because some of the work's already been done for them at this point. So maybe it's helping somebody down that road, and you don't have any of the headaches to go along with it.
Yeah, I mean, the as is a beautiful thing for the seller, and the question is not from the buyer. Dame, the one thing I have concern with here is real estate transaction fees. It didn't account for it in the language here. So are the net cash positions exactly what we think? I mean, or did you read it differently?
I didn't read it differently, and I hadn't even thought about it. And we would need to account for some of those. So maybe there's a little bit of extra calculation that needs to go on between what they've got saved plus the insurance for the down payment for the new house, because you're going to end up paying. Well, I guess with the new real estate rules, it's not guaranteed how much you're going to pay, but probably somewhere. Was it that everybody pays their own now at this point, unless you offer to pay for somebody else's? Kristen, how'd that go for you? What did that work out?
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
That did not. So basically what I've gathered from myself buying and from some other people I know trying to buy is that it's still not really being presented as a choice. It's like, well, the seller's going to pay the 6%, or we're going to ask them to pay the 6%, and we're going to split it 3 and 3, because buyers don't have that cash. So the realtors need the transaction to go that way.
Yeah. So look, let's take the 3% on this sale of $820. That's $26,000, right?
Yeah.
Is that my math?
Yeah.
$26,000, which then nets out $794,000. They bought it at $788 and put $75 in, and then they're getting $84,000 insurance funds. So Dame, they're sort of just off of, let's just call it capital gains for lack of a better term. They're netting $8,000 from what they bought it for. but then let's go backwards 75 because that's what they put in. So that means they're down 77, and then they pocket 84. So they're up after all this rigmarole. They're up $7,000 is where I'm at.
Yeah, but that money they put in is a sunk cost at this point. I mean, it's hard to really lean into that and say, darn it. But I don't know. That's my point of view.
Yeah, here's where I'm stuck is they're like, oh, well, we've got enough money for a down payment on a new place. But had they repair you the insurance money to repair and then sold at what the going market rate was for that property, would that have actually been the better mood and netted out the same amount? Well, we got the whole episode to debate this. So, Kristen, calm down. You keep interrupting everybody.
Sorry.
Just kidding. All right, let's do this. Come back. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the forever home fallacy as well, right here on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. The first 3 times I've read this email, because, guys, should we tell people I do show prep now?
You do.
It's true.
We can't knock you for that anymore.
Man, that was one of I have a binder of my shortcomings, and that's in the binder.
Reading
a new sponsor's ad.
Okay.
Yeah. Speaking of new sponsor, Kristen, we do feel a little bad. Dame and I obviously have more to associate with this 529. We amongst us, we have 4 529 plans. Dame, you've got 2. I've got 2. Kristen, you have dogs.
Yeah, they don't let you put dogs as beneficiaries on 529s.
But Kristen, in the spirit of like, okay, we got a new sponsor. Kristen's like, oh, you know what? Let's keep the sponsor. Let's open one. So you opened a 529 account last night.
I did. I opened a 529 account because I just had to see what it was all about.
Was it easy?
Yeah, it literally took me 5 minutes, and that included making a contribution, which you have to do to open an account, and me mistyping my own social.
Yeah.
Twice.
So who did you, because you can open one for yourself, you can open one for a family member or whatever. Who did you open yours for?
I did open the account for myself.
Yeah.
But the idea is that in October, we will change the beneficiary on that account to baby Kristen.
Breaking news.
There it is.
There is a baby on the podcast. There is a baby alert, baby on the podcast. Kristen, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm getting a note in my ear from a producer. We have on the line Kristen's daughter.
Hey, Mom. How are you?
I would be doing better if she were kinder to me. I've not been well. You too.
Look, here's the thing. You curse like a sailor a lot, so I like to kick you. It's like a cuss jar from inside. You've stopped drinking ranch waters, which is disappointing for me.
And for me.
Now, look, I've also overheard some of Dad's jokes, and they're not that good. So I'm wondering once, I'm here in October, if his jokes will get any better.
That is not likely because they're bad.
Well, that's what a dad joke is. Uncle Dame, nice to meet you.
Likewise.
We have the same amount of hair.
Well, it's to be expected, but you'll get over that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm never going to make an appearance on the show visually, but audibly, I will check in from time to time.
Oh, boy.
Kristen, Mom, what have you gotten yourself into?
I have a lot on my plate right now.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
Nursery's looking good, though. Thanks.
All right. So, big announcement on the show. Kristen joins the ranks of the parented. Wait, parenting. I don't know. Anyway, hey, Kristen, Dame and I decided as officially uncles to your child, that we are going to make contributions right now in real time to your 529 plan that you opened last night. So there's something called UGift, which when you open a 529 plan through Indiana 529, you can get a UGift code. And anytime someone's like, oh, what can we get the kids for Christmas or whatever, you're like, don't buy them toys because the supply chain's broken. There won't be toys this year. Just give them the UGift code. And so you gave us the UGift code because we asked, and I'm pressing send right now. And I just, hold on. I just made a contribution. Just made a contribution to your account.
She'll be so thankful in 18 years.
Yeah, that $5 is going to grow to a big amount.
$5? I'm not cheap.
Oh,
wait, Kristen, let's do this.
What?
Dame's making his contribution too. Dame
Okay.
making a contribution.
Yeah. And made.
Okay. Now, Kristen,
Yes.
next week you can tell us the amounts that were made contribution wise.
Okay. I can do that.
Oh, man. I don't know if you're going to handle that embarrassment, Pete.
Oh boy. All right. Anyway, congrats, Kristen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's get back to the show. Boy. See, that went well, Kristen, right?
It went just fine. Yeah.
Looking like a captive. All right. So in 3, 2, 1, back on the Pete the Planner show, talking, should a couple take an $84,000 flood claim check, sell their house as is, and then rent until the market settles out and interest rates go down? So let's focus on that aspect of it now. First of all, we have to admit the math isn't murky, or it's not fuzzy math for that matter, but the math is not as beautiful as it seems at the beginning once you net out realtor fees and capital gains and these different things, right? So Dame, do we agree the math seems a lot better than it is?
I think so. I think they're in a reasonable place to make the decision that they've made. And if they choose to go and find that forever home now, sure, go for it. But if they want to wait and see how things shake out, they can earn a little bit of money in a high yield savings account in the short term and have even more money by the time they decide that the time's right.
Kristen, I view this more of like a get out of jail free card than it is a super move. Like, I think it's like, great, man. They found an interesting off ramp to the situation they were in, and no harm, no foul. They're literally no worse, in my opinion. Do you view it that way, or do you view it as like the beginning of a super move?
I think I agree with you actually, because there's this idea of the forever home, which I do think we should dig a little bit more into, but like I view this as justification to move toward forever home, but at what cost? We said in the last segment, we think they're going to net maybe a few grand. And then by the time you move, you rent, and then you're going to move again to your forever home. I don't love those logistics.
I wish I knew their age. Dame, do you get a sense? I bet they're in their mid 30s, or actually early 30s.
I was going to say early 30s.
Yeah, 32, 33 is my guess there. Here's the other aspect of this. I'm willing to revisit Don't Buy a House in 2025 for a second. All right, because the economy is a wild place right now. We're 3 weeks, I believe, removed from that piece of advice that I gave. And things are moving so fast. I'm willing to say why I might feel that way. I still think interest rates are going to come down, but I think they're going to come down 9 to 12 months from now. We'll start there. Dame, that puts us fourth quarter, right? Into first quarter of next year. Do you buy that that's when interest rates come down, or do you think they don't come down?
I think they'll come down actually a little bit sooner than that, but we're not talking a significant amount either. And if we think about what interest rates are right now, historically, we're still under what the average 30-year rate has been historically for us. So if you go out and you can find 7%, maybe a little less than that 30-year mortgage, if that's the route you have to go, the 50-year average is close to 7.5% on a 30-year mortgage. So we're still in an okay buying spot right now if the numbers work out for you, but don't let the interest rate necessarily hold you back because it's still okay.
Yeah, Kristen, how do you think about that? I mean, because what Dame's saying is, let's say it comes down 50 basis points or 25 basis points, the interest rates, and then the mortgage rates will soon follow. The market value of homes could increase proportionally more than that. And then waiting for interest rates to come down could actually hurt you.
Yeah. And it might, the way I'm thinking about this, I don't want it to come across as too harsh, but if we're talking about a housing decision being made or a purchase being made or not being made off the back of a 0.5% or percent interest rate change, I'm not sure that the objective affordability was there for the purchase to begin with.
That's interesting. You know, one of my elements of not wanting people to buy homes this year is that employment during tough economic times is less steady than it is during, good economic times. Our emailer, what was the name? Brian? Am I making that up? He indicates that their jobs are secure. So Dame, now that arguably is point number 2 as to why I'm wrong and they should potentially make a move now. Or how are you feeling just in general about them waiting to see what's going on versus jumping back into homeownership? Like at some point, this has to become about, is renting the way to go? And I think we'll get there in a few minutes, but I'm just curious, like where are you right now with this?
I don't think they have to jump into anything super fast if they don't want to. They're buying flexibility with that rent. If they choose to rent, that's what that payment is going for. Whether that means they're going to check out maybe different neighborhoods, maybe you go rent in the neighborhood that you want to potentially live in for a year, make sure it fits your lifestyle and commute to work and all those things that go along with it. Great. You're buying flexibility. You're buying knowledge at that point for your future life or your forever home. So if you choose to sit in a renting situation for 6, 12, 18, 24 months, whatever makes the most sense for you, I don't think you're wasting money at all at this point.
Kristen, what do you think the move is?
I really hate having to tell someone to live among renovations, but I think that the idea of having some cash to walk away from, or to walk away with rather, to increase their timeline, because they bought this home 2 years ago and they wanted to buy their forever home in about 5 years. We're still 3 years ahead of that original timeline for a net gain of, when we are looking at the total purchase price of these houses, is very small. I don't think that this maths. That's
interesting, because in saying it that way of like, it's still 3 years from when they thought they're going to buy their forever home. When a couple or a person makes that assertion, what they say is our income will be at a place that can support that. And then they're saying our asset growth is now at a level that can support that, meaning a bigger emergency fund because you've got more to deal with. In this case, we'll say that those savings are actually going to re-supplement the down payment. So Dame, in some respects, and this is a little bit nutty, in some respects, this feels like an adjustable rate mortgage where a person convinces themselves they're going to be able to grow into the payment. Mm-hmm. I've gone back and forth this entire episode of what these people should do. So now I know why they emailed, because I'm kind of team rent right now, and not waiting because of some stupid edict that I've made about don't buy a house in 2025, but out of the prudence of being ready to own your forever home or whatever you call it.
Do you think if the house hadn't been damaged and they sold it, do you think they would have gotten 10% over what they paid for it?
This is a great question. Because let's play some math here. Okay, so let me pull up some. It's Friday. My math is brutal on Fridays. Mm-hmm. Well, let's say, okay, so they're selling for $820, and let's say it sold for $900. I think that's the best way to say it, because it's the 84,000. Let's go. They sold for $900. So then they're going to have a 3% realtor fee on 900, right? We're going to go with that. So $27,000. Okay, so that takes them down to 873, and then they purchased for 788. Math, $85,000 net walk away, and they're currently walking away with $84,000. That's wild. It's the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, they sunk the reno in, but you can't count that because that's just part of the sunk cost at this point.
So what's the less in 10 seconds, Dane? What's the least risky move? To get out now? I mean, it's to get out now because selling at a higher market price is always higher.
Yeah, get out now. That's a paid exit at this point.
All right. Coming up after the break, what does renting look like in this scenario? That's next on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. Kristen, it just occurred to me we're not this is why people have to listen to the podcast, because now the podcast listener knows that there's a child involved. The radio audience,
no idea.
They don't get to know.
Hey,
oops,
sorry.
The radio audience also doesn't get to know that this episode is sponsored by Indiana 529. They also don't get to know that.
That's a bummer for them.
Those poor people aren't going to be able to put their kids through college because they're not going to know about the Indiana 529.
Think about all the student loans that people listening to the radio are going to have.
Yep.
Dean, what are you doing this weekend? Kristen's like renovating a home. What are you doing?
Calm weekend this weekend. Going out of town next weekend.
Calm.
Yeah, my wife and daughter are going to the hotbed of all-star cheer competition, Sandusky, Ohio, tonight.
I really thought you were going to say Orlando, Florida, but now I see. Yes, I had forgotten totally about Sandusky.
And I am making steaks on the grill for the boys.
Oh, what side are you going with?
This is a good question. I'm doing them on the Blackstone or the flat top or whatever. So I'm going to do like a steakhouse hash brown with like bacon bits, sour cream, green onion. Ted wants like a fancy mac and cheese. But on chat last night, I found a recipe I would do. And then I was like, what are the macros on this? Actually, I'm going to read them to you because they were so appalling.
No protein in mac and cheese.
It was okay. Are you ready for this? All right. One serving of steakhouse style cavatappi mac and cheese. Okay. One serving. I want you to each to guess the caloric intake on one serving. Okay.
How big is a serving?
How big is a serving? I mean, it's a serving, bro. It's
what are we talking about? A scoop. Okay.
It's a scoop.
It's a scoop. If you're making it the right way, it's like pushing 500, I bet.
Okay, Dame.
I was going to say 850.
828.
Oh my.
Protein, oddly enough, there is protein in it with cheese.
But
31 grams of protein. That's a lot of protein.
not for 800 calories.
That's true. 72 carbs and 45 grams of fat.
Right.
And so needless to say, I was like, nah, I don't want to do that.
But they're delicious.
So anyway, hash browns and steaks for the boys.
Okay. No asparagus? Love asparagus with steaks. Oscar style.
Well, I mean, he calls them sticks, and the kids don't like sticks. Kristen, we have so much to teach you about parenting.
Great. I cannot wait.
Don't eat asparagus over the next few months. Because I don't want any part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This child has half of her father's DNA. She hates all vegetables, actually.
Yeah. She's right about that. I'm also a beef gal. Not a beef cow, a beef gal. I like beef.
Yeah.
Thank God for him.
Okay. Enough of that. All right. What do we got? We got all-time best listener Jameson weighing in here. Proud owner of 2 Indiana 529 plans, even though we live in Texas. We're now draining both accounts with both kids at college, and we're glad we funded it so aggressively as we did. Dave, you know, sometimes you save money for something and then you buy it and then you actually feel bad that now the money's gone. I will not feel that way about college.
Not at all. That money will go to paying those bills, and there will be money that will stay in my checking account because they are not paying those bills.
The best part about making this You Gift contribution to Kristen is that I get a tax credit for it.
True.
There's no such thing as a selfless good deed, huh?
Oh, no, absolutely. I get a little tax credit for that. Anyway,
if you get a tax credit for that, it means you're not maxing out your own 529s.
we are maxing out our own 529. So, Dame, technically, I do not get a tax credit on what I just did for Kristen. Thank you.
Well, I guess you could say you got it for that, not for your own kids. I guess it really just comes out in the wash, whatever you want to do.
Pete's doing a great job. Everybody's happy with him.
All right, let's see. Where are we at? Third segment?
Third segment.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show. Emailer Brian, clearly from the East Coast.
Yeah.
Their house flooded. They took the $84,000 of insurance funds. They were like, this is interesting. What if we just sold the house as is and not repair it and just, take the proceeds from the sale and the $84,000 and move on, get out of jail free card style. So that's where we're at. Should they rent until they get things figured? Dame, what was that noise?
That was, did you see me jump? Oh my gosh, it was a bird just ran headlong into my window over there. Sorry about that. It was loud.
Kristen, I got to be honest with you. The windows in my home are not that clean.
I was actually just thinking maybe you need to like dirty those up or something. Why are they so clean on a barn, Damien?
Man, I thought Angry Birds wasn't a thing anymore, except in northern Indiana where they try to kill Dame during a radio show.
I have to go check.
Kristen, go to you here. How long do you think they rent?
Longer than they want to.
Ooh.
I think that if they're going to sell and step away from home ownership, I think we really need to reevaluate what forever in a home means. I think we need to reevaluate our long-term decision-making when it comes to our home purchases. I think that this is probably at least a 2 or 3 year runway, to be honest.
Man, my head wasn't there at first, but I can definitely be convinced. Dame, I kind of buy that, but here's where I was going. Now you're gonna have to choose between us. I was thinking month to month, and then you've just got the ultimate flexibility that if you see an opportunity, you got dry powder, you go and do it. But if they go, I'm talking myself out of that. If they go month to month too soon, everything looks like an opportunity.
True.
So where do you land on this?
I think you have to commit to renting for a certain period of time. I mean, minimum of 6 months, but probably closer to a year. And then you make your decision at that point. And if you want to have a timeline for yourself, go right ahead. If you want to say we're going to do this for X amount of years, which means, this month roughly, we're going to start looking for that next place. And if everything works out, we'll have that next house, that forever home lined up by the time we're wrapping up this lease. And then we can make that transition at that point. But I think about having timelines on home buying, and I just don't know if that's even possible in this environment that we're at right now, because it's so competitive, and it sounds like it's a potentially competitive environment for them as well. I just don't know if, as Kristen says, if you go into this thinking you're going to rent for X number of months, that could easily slide into a much longer time frame because of certain things that are outside of your control.
Hey, Kristen, isn't this about clarity? Isn't the time of renting is going to provide them peace, like a clear mind?
Yeah, because I think that the fact that we're potentially moving for what we think could be as small as a 1% net gain on the home makes me think that this decision might have been a little rushed when we made it in 2023. I could be wrong, but it seems like to have a net gain, when we think about it as a percentage, maybe we need to spend some additional time thinking about what the next move looks like and then even the subsequent move after that, because this is not going to be your forever home. I hate to break it to you.
I have to admit, I've made a lot of financial decisions that weren't necessarily good, but they didn't impact me negatively. It wasn't a good decision. It was that get out of jail. It's like, oh, I have an off ramp here. If I want to take it, no harm, no foul. I've done that several times, but I feel like the more you do that, the more opportunities you miss. Dame, am I wrong here?
It's interesting. I hadn't really thought about it, because you're saying just because you don't commit necessarily to the decision that you were faced with, you don't follow through and really make it as efficient or as profitable as you could have. Is that what you're trying to say?
That's a good question. It's a good question. Good clarity you're seeking there. I'll like with car stuff for me. You know how I am. Like I'll be like, okay, this car decision I'm about to make doesn't put me in a better financial position by any means. It's sort of a lateral move. And I like, with big financial decisions, I like to progress. I like my net worth to go up when I make a financial decision. I don't like it to go laterally, because there's not that many dynamic moments in your life that you can get wins. And if you take a draw or a loss during those moments, it feels like a wasted opportunity. Maybe I'm crazy, but that's the way I think about it.
I think there are certain things in life where you expect just to almost tread water financially on either periods of your life or certain things that you're purchasing. I think transportation is one of those. Very, very rarely do people go backwards willingly with the transportation decisions that they make. And if you can, just assume that, Pete, you're going to have a car for the rest of your life, at least one in your household. And if you're going to value certain features or brands or whatever that is, it's money that's been spent at that point. You just bake it into the budget. That's okay. I don't have an issue with having horizontal areas in your financial life, but at the same time, they can't all be that too. So if you're going to pick and choose things that you're okay spending money on, you have to be able to dedicate money either to saving or investing or cutting back in other areas to give you the margin to achieve those financial goals that you're setting for yourself.
Kristen, what do we think about, let's take three moves here that are three decisions, and let's go ahead and rate them, all of us 1 to 10 of what we think. First thing we're going to rate, and we're going to start with you, is we're going to rate the decision to sell as is and pocket the $84,000 insurance money, as opposed to repairing, selling at market price, or the alternate decision there is to repair, stay in home. Okay, so how do you rate taking the insurance money and rolling out?
One's worst.
No, one is worst. 10 is best. Yes.
I think it's like a 3 or a 4.
Ooh. Okay. Damian Andrew Dunn.
I was going to say it's a 5 because I just don't have quite enough information to be able to make a good judgment on that.
I was at a 5 too, but then Kristen just...
Don't let her influence you.
She's been doing that recently, which I hate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't talk too much. That arguably the thing to do is to repair the house and do nothing.
Yeah. In theory, the repair should cost you nothing other than a pain in your butt for however long the reno takes.
Plan to move anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so that decision is made, I think, already.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now we are to buy a house right now. If they were to buy a house right now, get into their dream home right now, put a down payment and go. Opportunity knocks. 1's a bad decision. 10's a great decision. Dane, we're going to start with you. What is it?
Assuming everything is kosher, I will say that that's a 6.
Kristen?
5.
I'm at 2.
Really?
I think buying another home right now, Brian, what do they call it? The
Forever
home. Sounds like a grave, honestly.
You know that you and I eventually are going to have forever homes, right?
Yeah, no, I realize that. Yeah, I'm a 2 there. I'm like, don't rush it. Like, don't see something that's not there. I think they're seeing ghosts a little bit. Speaking of the grave, and then finally, rent. We'll call it for at least a year. We'll say rent for at least a year as a good decision here. Kristen, 1's a bad idea. 10's a good idea. Where are you?
7.
Dame?
7.
Yeah, I'm 7 or 8 there. I think that's the tough one. All right. Well, Brian, do you regret sending that email?
Sorry, Brian.
It's all right. Well, not to be on the nose here, but coming up next, biggest waste of money of the week and the news right here on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner.
Dave, tell us if that bird's dead.
I can't see it from here, but I'll look after the show and Slack you.
What kind of bird?
Probably a robin, because they've been flying around out there. But I mean, that hit with some force. I can't imagine that it's not just a pile of feathers down there.
Weird question. Yeah. Don't read into it. We'll start with Dame. Do you have a lot of rabbits in your yard?
What's a lot?
An inordinate amount based on your acreage.
No, there's probably today. There's probably 2 or 3, but I mean that could be like 30 in a couple weeks.
I've Googled it. Kristen, do you have rabbits nigh?
We do at the new house, but they won't be there when the farm dog gets there.
Okay, so you guys know I've got a very small lot. Is that what we call it?
Sure.
About an eighth of an acre. It's not much.
Huge.
Huge.
It's not. No, it's really not much. It's very small, very thin. I think we got 4 rabbits.
That's too much.
Yeah. In my neighborhood, go ahead. I'm sorry.
At first it was chipmunks. Now it's rabbits.
Now it's rabbits. I drive. I leave my house about 5:30 usually, and I go around the corner to go out of my little neighborhood, and there's this little corner lot that's got a lot of grass, and there's probably 6 rabbits there. It's like, I think something's happening here.
Hold on. Now, are these caramel rabbit? Are these like the super long ear and like luxurious rabbits? I mean, mink coats instead of rabbit fur lined coats, because they already have the rabbit fur.
They actually have their ribbons from the state fair. They wear them.
Yeah,
they're all first place. They're all first place rabbits.
Go figure.
We did have one find its way into our window well of our basement, and no one got to it in time.
Oops.
So anyway, got a new hat. All right.
New keychain.
I've gotten a lot luckier. And so are 3 of my friends. Oh boy. I don't know what's happening. Okay. You ready for the next part of this whole thing?
Indeed.
Am I is the better question. All right. Here we go. This is the first time with this setup. So this is not, I don't know what's going to happen.
Are you going to be able to read the copy?
I'm going to go on the lower monitor. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. This week's biggest waste of money of the week, right here on the Pete the Planner Show, is sorry. I want to try to. Okay, here we go. Nope. Yes. The Backscape kit. Backscape revolutionizes men's grooming with a time-saving omnidirectional shaver designed for effortless self-care. Its 6 precision titanium coated foils deliver an ultra close, irritation free shave, whether wet or dry, while the friction fit extendable handle ensures independent back, head, chest, and full body grooming. Unlike bulky competitors prone to razor burn, Backscape's sleek, efficient design offers complete coverage in just minutes, providing the ultimate grooming. Kristen, what is a Backscape grooming kit cost?
Well, if this was marketed to women, it would be twice as expensive as it is.
The pink tax is what they call that?
Yes. I'm going to guess this is $110.
Okay. Dame, to shave your back, what would it cost you?
$149.
Oh, $95 for the backscape kit.
A steal.
I mean, just let it grow, baby.
Yeah, just be a man.
Sure.
Just be a man.
Dame, what is in the news this week?
I will warn you, there are some really weird stories that we can run into this week. For example, if asking ChatGPT for help already feels like living in a sci-fi movie, buckle up because OpenAI CEO Sam Altman has another project rolling out in the US, and it involves scanning your eyeballs for cryptocurrency.
Yep. Okay, hold on. What?
Hit the timeout button.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Time out.
What?
It's called WorldCoin, and it uses a shiny metal orb that stares deep into your soul. Okay, it's your iris for 30 seconds. Creates a unique ID to prove you're a real human and not rogue AI, and then hands you some crypto called WLD. Congrats, you've been eyeball verified. So far, over 12 million people worldwide have signed up, and now it's launching in 5 U.S. cities. Kristen, you'll be shocked to know that Austin is one of them. You'll be able to use your new World ID to log into apps like Reddit, Minecraft, and Discord, because why wouldn't your eyeball be your new password? The company promises your data stays private, but regulators in several countries aren't so sure. Meanwhile, they're also working on iris-based age verification for Tinder in Japan and partnering with Visa to launch a credit card, because obviously the next logical step after scanning your eye is finding love and buying tacos.
Kristen, I had to have told you this story years ago when I used to blog a lot. I thought, I'm clever. I'm going to write a satirical blog post about now you go into a store and you look at the cash register and that's your form of payment. So it was satirical. I wrote it like a news story that I had sourced. And at that time, when my blog had a lot of readers, a local news producer saw it, called me and said, "Can we interview you on the news about this tonight?" And I said, "You didn't read the satire in that." Dame, this literally has now happened. This is now happening.
You can go check it out. This was direct off CNBC, but I'm sure there's plenty of other news outlets that have this story.
And the reason I bring this up is I would like some respect around here, and I would like for you two to call me a futurist.
Oh my.
Next story.
Who wants this?
I don't know. 12 million people signed up for this.
I saw this video the other day that said, we don't want this anymore. How much more convenient is this than me just tapping my iPhone, which I already do. I don't need the next level of this. Invest your money in the good. I want my dogs to live forever. Let's put funds behind that, please.
You want a follow on to AI and credit cards?
No,
because I got one.
No.
Okay. AI agents were supposed to be more than just chatbots. They were hyped as the personal assistants of our dreams, ready to handle life's tasks. So far, they're mostly just chatting. But Visa, of course, wants to change that by handing them your credit card. Here's the idea. You set a budget and tell your AI agent what you need, maybe a new sweater or groceries or a flight. And the AI goes out and buys it for you. Visa's calling this potentially transformational, on par with the birth of e-commerce. Visa just announced partnerships with major AI players like OpenAI, Microsoft, Anthropic, and even Samsung to hook their systems into its payment network. Pilot programs are already kicking off with wider use expected next year. Now, don't panic. The bots aren't about to go shopping without you. At first, they'll check back with you before making big purchases like plane tickets, but over time, you might trust them enough with instructions like, go book me a flight, just keep it under $1,500. Because really, what could go wrong when your grocery list and your credit card live inside the same robot brain?
Have you ever tried to give like a 10-year-old your credit card at a concession stand at a sporting event?
Yes.
It doesn't go well. It's a cluster. So therefore, I do not have faith that this is a good thing.
No, not at all.
You might be the last person in the world I know that would actually do that.
Yeah, I love automation and convenience, but like I still have to be the driver of those things. This is taking away too much from me.
Dane, what else is in the news?
Pop quiz.
No.
Which country has the most CFA charter holders and Bloomberg terminals per capita?
Can you explain that to the layman, please?
CFA, Chartered Financial Analyst, is a designation that you get because you are really, really good at analyzing investments. And Bloomberg terminals help you with information around the market. And I don't know. I've never used a Bloomberg. I've never seen one. Pete, do you have any other?
No, that's good.
Okay.
Kristen, what do you think? What country?
Oh my gosh, please don't make me guess first. I have no idea.
I'm going to go. I wanted to go England, but I'm going to go. I'm going to go.
This is great radio.
Dubai.
That's a
Kristen?
good guess.
If you thought of smaller countries like Luxembourg or financially focused countries like Cayman Islands, you're not far off. But according to the CFA Institute's Rob Langrick, the answer is Vatican City.
Oh, okay.
With a whopping 4 CFA charter holders, according to Bloomberg, the Vatican has 0.004 per capita versus 0.002 for the next largest, which is the Cayman Islands. He also noted that 12% of the total population of Vatican City works in finance, beating Luxembourg's 10%. They have 17 Bloomberg terminals.
You know,
which are very expensive.
I don't love sports betting. You guys know this. But I think I would be willing to wager who the next pope's going to be. Like if you could bet online for that, which I'm sure you can, I think I would do it. Kristen, do you have a favorite
Candidate for Pope?
Yeah. Who's your guy?
I don't know. You guys, I'm normally out of touch with like anything that's relevant in like any sort of pop culture. You guys know this, but I am not on my phone like at all these days. I have no idea what's happening in the world. No idea.
Good for you.
So Dame, she's not up on pop culture nor pope culture. Dame, what else is in the news?
That's one's too long. I can't read that.
Well, at least you're stalling.
Yeah, we'll just we'll get to there eventually. Cargo handlers are raising the alarm on a steep drop-off in foreign-made goods entering the U.S. Meantime, out-of-stock signs could multiply as soon as next month if President Trump doesn't change his tariff tune. Ocean freighters called off 80 trips from China to the U.S. this month. That's almost 60% more cancellations than during the peak of COVID-19 supply chain interruptions during May of 2020.
So the narrative is next Friday, which is May 9th. That is when we're supposed to start to notice things, supply chain issues. So we either will or we won't. Or it'll go like today's jobs report where you think some people thought it was going to be bad, like me, and it was great, and you're wrong. So, boy, what a fun game of chicken. That's all we have this week on the show. Sending good vibes. Good vibes are all that's in the budget. I'm Pete the Planner. Wow. I love that I could read the Backscape back shaver ad. I could not read our sponsor ad to start the show. And with that, I think I'm having a bad day.
Bummer.
I think they got their money's worth today.
Kristen, I just sent you the confirmation code of my gift to your 529 plan for baby Elanius. Congrats to you and your man.
Thanks. I'll let him know that you called her that.
What I call her?
Baby Elanius.
Baby Elanius. Oh yes. Yeah, that's a Dame. Dame, I wish you the best in your life.
Thanks. Same to you.
Yeah, that's great. All right, everybody else. That was fun. Thank you. And that's it for this week's show. Stay getting money.